He swore he loved me. Swore he'd never hurt me. And for years, I believed him, right up until the night I walked through that door and saw what he'd been planning behind my back. The worst part isn't what he did. It's what I did after I found out. I don't know if anyone will forgive me for this. I used to be a fiancé. Used to. 3 weeks out from the wedding, that's what the calendar said, 3 weeks until I traded spreadsheets for vows, until I stopped being Grant, the guy who plans everything, and became Grant, the husband. I thought we balanced each other. I liked lists, timelines, and clean lines on a budget spreadsheet. Eliza Rose, lived for color palettes, last-minute inspiration, and the perfect photo. She smiled at chaos like it was a perfume. I told myself her freefall was charming. She told herself my order was steadying. Turns out I was carrying most of the weight, and apparently, so was Julian. We'd been wrestling with seating charts and cake tastings for a year. Her mother, Diana, ran the show like a storm in heels, expensive tastes, louder opinions, and zero patience for compromise. I signed checks to keep the peace. The venue, the band, the cake that probably cost more than my car, my cards paid for most of it. Eliza insisted on calling the invitations her design baby. She picked an artisanal letterpress service, gold foil, thick cardstock, the kind of stuff she could stroke and sigh over. It's the first thing people see, she told me. It sets the tone. The box arrived on a slow Wednesday afternoon. I remember the sound, the little paper rustle when I peeled back the lid. There it was, that soft, creamy cardstock, weighty and perfect. I slid one out and read it aloud without thinking. Diana and Mr. Pearson request the pleasure of your company at the marriage of their daughter, Eliza Rose, to, my eyes snagged, Julian Scott. Julian. The name lodged in my throat like a cork. Julian. 5 years. The ghost that showed up at every holiday story, the one Diana whispered about with a mixture of nostalgia and regret. The one Eliza swore was over. I pulled another card. Same. 2 more. 200 identical invitations, all the way through. Each one addressed to the wedding of Eliza and Julian. For a second I didn't move. My hands were steady in a way that didn't belong to me, cold, methodical. Then I walked into the living room where Eliza and her mother were bent over a laptop hunting centerpieces, petals and vases splashed across the screen like confetti. Hey, I said. My voice sounded distant to my own ears. Eliza, I tried again. The invitations came. Oh thank God, she said without looking up. How are they? Perfect? Do they feel right? They look great, I said. But there's a problem. Diana sniffed. Is it spelled wrong? Printers always. No, I handed her one. They spelled everything fine. They just used the wrong groom's name. Silence. Then a laugh. A high, brittle laugh from Eliza that didn't sit right with me. She ripped the card from my hand and read, face changing colors like a bad photograph. Oh my God, she breathed, clutching her hand to her mouth. No, this is so embarrassing. It must be a typo. Maybe I uploaded the wrong file. Jason? Not Jason. Julian. Ugh, I had a draft with a placeholder. She laughed again, this time it squeaked into nervousness. Diana's reaction was a practiced dismissal. A typo. Oh, Eliza darling, what a ridiculous little mistake. Grant, don't be so dramatic. Her tone dripped like sugar over a loaded cake. We'll just call people, reprint, problem solved. 3 weeks, I said softly. There's no time to reprint and send 200 invites. Eliza's face hardened. You're making a big deal out of nothing. It's a stupid file error. Don't be so, she cut herself off, eyes flashing. Are you going to make this into something? Always so serious. That last line, always so serious, landed like a thrown plate. I felt something flip inside me, the neat little breaker that keeps me calm, the one I'd relied on for budgets and schedules. I saw the replies to his texts she always claimed were innocent, the way Diana's eyes softened whenever Julian's name came up, the faint, apologetic smile Eliza wore when she denied it. The picture sharpened. I smiled, but it felt like a mask. You're right, I said, painstakingly even. It's just a typo. I'll take care of it. Her whole body relaxed like someone had released a hand from her shoulder. Good, she said, relieved. I knew you'd fix it. Flowers are stressing me out, can you handle the guest list? You're so good at that. Of course, I lied and walked out. I closed the office door and sat with my back against it. For 10 minutes I trembled in silence, and ached deep in the sternum like a punch. Then planning took over. That's what I do. When the world looks rotten, I organize. Step 1, money. I dug up the wedding savings, about $22,000 in a high-yield account we'd earmarked for last-minute expenses. I moved it, quietly and deliberately, into my personal checking and then into a separate savings at another bank. Out of reach. Commitment level gone. Call it an emergency fund for myself. Step 2, the venue. The Grand Oak, we put down $10,000. $15,000 still due next week. I dialed Sharon, the events manager. Her voice was professional, cushioned. Mr. Pearson? Is everything okay? No, I said. We need to cancel. A sharp intake on the line. But, your deposit. I know it's non-refundable. My voice didn't tremble. I'll eat it. I need to be sure my card isn't charged for the remaining balance. Please confirm cancellation in writing. Of course, Sharon whispered, and I could hear pity on the line. I hung up. From 7:20 on, it became a funeral march. One by one I called the florist, the band, the baker, the photographer, the ones whose contracts I'd lovingly hoarded in a folder labeled wedding. Deposits lost, relationships ended. The photographer's cancellation stung more than I expected, $4,000 down. I'd liked him. But a broken trust cuts differently than money. Total cost so far, $20,500. I thought, with a strange little thrill, that was cheaper than an all-out legal fight. Step 3, the fix. I logged into the wedding site Eliza had lovingly curated, the one with RSVPs and a running playlist of our songs. There sat the guest list, 200 names, 200 email addresses. My fingers hovered over the Email All Guests button like a diver on the edge of the board. I drafted a message and watched my cursor blink. Subject, important correction regarding the wedding of Eliza and, name. Dear friends and family, by now you may have received an invitation to the wedding of Eliza Rose and Julian Scott. This was, unfortunately, a printing error. The correct groom is Grant Pearson. And then, in a tone I could have sworn was half joke and half bullet, I wrote, the wedding of Grant and Eliza is cancelled. But, because I refuse to let a bar tab go to waste and because I am nothing if not practical, I am hosting a I'm single again party at the Apex Lounge on the same date. Same time. Drinks on me, well, sort of. No gifts, please, just bring yourselves and your curiosity. I stared at the send button until my hand shook. This was a line I could not uncross. Then I clicked it. The phone went nuclear. Ben, my best man, rang first. Dude. What the, are you serious? My mom, text messages from friends, a flurry of OMGs and WTFs. Eliza's phone, left on the coffee table, buzzed with messages and calls I could now hear from the other room. I heard them laugh about peonies one moment and then, as if pulled by a magnet, Eliza returned to the living room. She picked up her phone. Silence stretched like taffy. Grant, she said at last, small, suspicious. What is the Apex Lounge? I stepped out into the living room. She looked like someone had drained the color from her face. I cancelled the wedding, I said flatly. I cancelled the venue. I'm not marrying you. Her whole body collapsed into a scream that went from disbelief to rage in an instant. You what? You cancelled our wedding? You can't, this was supposed to be our day. She was shouting now, heat flushing her cheeks. This was a typo. A typo. You're insane. You typed his name, I said, voice steady. You uploaded a file labeled with his name. That's not a typo. She shot back, you're being paranoid. This is crazy. Diana, who had been rummaging in the kitchen for napkins, appeared and planted herself in the doorway, righteous fury in every syllable. You will fix this, she informed me like a judge. You will call everyone back and apologize. You have humiliated my daughter. I moved past her. Have a good night, Diana, I said. Eliza, I'll be changing the locks tomorrow. Maybe you should make some plans. The words tasted of finality. I left with my keys and my laptop bag. I drove 3 minutes to Ben's place and walked in like a man who had just lit a match in a dry forest. My phone kept erupting, 18 missed calls from Eliza, a dozen from her mother, and 100 furious texts. Ben put his hand on my shoulder and handed me a beer wordlessly. He wheeled the phone onto speaker to let me hear Diana's voicemail. Grant, she shrieked. You, how could you? You have ruined my daughter's life. You will pay. You will pay for the dress. You will pay for the cake. I am going to sue you. You are the message dissolved into incoherent shouting, the kind that makes your ears ring. Ben looked at me, eyes wide. He shrugged and said, honestly, man? That's the best 20 grand you ever spent. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to cry. I wanted to go back and fix it in the way planners fix spreadsheets, a formula here, a corrected cell there, and pretend the rest could be smoothed out. But I had clicked send. Contracts were voided. Names had been read aloud. The only direction left was forward. I sat there, half listening to the voicemail replay, and a small, cool voice in my head asked, did I overreact? Or did I finally do something right, for me? The phone buzzed again. A new email arrived from the photography company with a terse subject line, legal. My hands tightened around the beer. Whatever I thought this night would end with, anger, relief, a single bitter drink, it wasn't over. And somewhere, in a house we built together out of Pinterest boards and careful plans, Eliza was calling me again. I ignored it. Because the next message wasn't from her. It was from Julian. It's been a week. I'm typing this from a sterile, furnished corporate apartment, the kind with a couch that looks like a couch but feels like a firm handshake. My company owed me a favor, and apparently, my fiancée put her ex's name on our wedding invites, qualifies as a 5-alarm emergency. I haven't set foot back in my condo since the night I left. First order of business, the I'm single again party is still happening. Apex Lounge was confused at first, lots of I'm sorry, you're, what now? But totally fine with me transferring the bar tab. The manager even slid me a quiet little discount like a bartender handing a wounded soldier a medal. Pity has a price, but I'll take it. The fallout has been biblical. Flaming texts, locust-level gossip, frothing voicemails. Meanwhile, the condo, my condo, is premarital property. I bought it 5 years before I met Eliza. Should be simple, right? It wasn't. Enter Greg, my new best friend and also my lawyer. Greg informed me that because Eliza has been living there, she has tenant rights. Translation, I couldn't just stroll over with new keys and a smug smile. I had to do it by the book. So I did. I had her formally served with a 30-day notice to vacate. Professional process server. Paper in hand. Door knock. Legal. Clean. Predictable. She did not take it well. She called me from a blocked number. I answered, because apparently I was still clinging to the fantasy that reason could exist in this universe. You served me, she shrieked, voice tearing through the phone. You had a stranger come to my door and serve me like I'm a criminal? I'm following the law, Eliza, I said as calmly as I could. You have 30 days to move your things. Move my things? She made a noise halfway between a laugh and a scream. This is my home. You are abusive, Grant. This is financial abuse. You canceled my dream. You put your ex-boyfriend's name on our invitation, I said. That was your dream. Apparently. It was a typo, she fired back, words tripping over each other. A mistake, okay? I was stressed, my mother, I uploaded the wrong file. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough, I said. I'm blocking this number. All communication goes through Greg now. You have his card. I hung up. Blocked the number. Sat there and listened to the AC hum like a distant ocean while my pulse tried to break out of my wrists. Then came the masterpiece. A registered letter arrived at my office. From Diana. Of course. Inside was a meticulously itemized, 5-page invoice for $28,400, typed, formatted, and angry. Line items included $10,000 for a non-refundable wedding gown and accessories, $5,000 for emotional distress and humiliation caused by libelous email, she spelled it libellous, which I will cherish forever, $3,500 for prepaid non-refundable beauty treatments, tanning, facials, hair trials, $2,000 for a lost bridal shower venue deposit, $1,500 for a custom cake topper, and the piece de resistance, $6,450 in consultation fees for wedding planning services rendered by Diana to her own daughter. She had billed me for her help. I stared at that stack of paper like it might grow teeth. The $1,500 for the cake topper jumped off the page. I remembered it, the custom silhouette piece. I pulled my statements. There it was, my Amex charge. I paid for it. Not Eliza. Not Diana. They were trying to double dip. I scanned the whole thing and emailed it to Greg with the subject, FYI, this seems ambitious. He called me back wheezing with laughter. Do not respond, he said. This is amateur hour. Legally meaningless. A tantrum on letterhead. Comforting, I said. I've had worse tantrums at Costco. But the cake topper gnawed at me. I'd paid for it, it was likely sitting pretty in my condo, a trophy I bought, displayed in my house by someone who didn't want to marry me. That thought tasted like metal. Then came the dirty trick. My phone pinged with a fraud alert from a bank account I hadn't touched in 3 years. Someone had tried to cash a paper check off that old account, made out to Diana, for $15,000. Memo line, vendor payment, wedding. It wasn't subtle. It was a neon sign. My stomach hit the floor. The only way anyone could have pulled that stunt was if they'd found the old checkbook in my home office. Eliza must have gone digging through drawers, grabbed a relic account, and written her mother a consulting check like she was paying a contractor to fix a roof. The account had less than $20 in it. The attempted withdrawal pushed it to $14,980 and triggered every bell and whistle in the system. I called Greg immediately. He wasn't laughing now. Okay, he said after a beat, voice sharpening. This is actually good. For us. Very good. It's check fraud. We don't have to press charges, but we can use it. He drafted a blistering email to Eliza's new attorney, a bargain bin name I'm convinced Diana pulled off a billboard. Greg's email laid out the attempted fraud in politely terrifying detail and ended with an offer. In lieu of our client filing criminal charges, Miss, last name, will vacate the premises within 48 hours and sign a full release of any claim to property, save for her personal belongings. 2 hours later, we had the shortest, sweetest email I've ever read. Miss, last name, will vacate the premises by 5 p.m. Friday. That's tomorrow. Ben and I are meeting the police at the condo to supervise the move out. No drama, no shouting contests in the hallway, just a clean extraction and a locksmith on standby. The "I'm single again" party is officially back on at my soon-to-be exorcised condo. Yes, exorcised. I'm bringing sage. And maybe a priest. We'll see what the HOA says. The second she's gone, the locks change for real. New keys. New code. New start. Assuming, of course, she actually walks out by 5 p.m. tomorrow, and doesn't have one last typo left to drop in my living room. It's over. I'm sitting in my condo right now. It smells like burnt hair, cheap perfume, and bad decisions. But it's mine again. My space. My mess. My fresh start. The move out was a spectacle. Ben came with me, along with 2 uniformed officers. They were calm, professional, the kind of quiet that fills a room even when they don't say much. Their job was simple, keep the peace. My job? Watch my ex-fiancée pack up the last pieces of her mess. Except she hadn't packed. She and Diana, her personal storm cloud of entitlement, had apparently spent the last 48 hours grieving. And by grieving, I mean vandalizing. It wasn't explosive destruction. It was petty. Calculated. My favorite leather chair, razor cut down the back like a surgical incision. My high-end blender? Gone. My entire spice collection, years of perfect seasoning, dumped into the kitchen sink like a spice funeral. My toothbrush? I found it in the toilet. And the mattress, she must have emptied every bottle of perfume she owned on it. The scent punched me in the face the second I walked in. Floral, chemical, rancid. I'll have to burn the thing. Diana started yelling the second she saw the officers. You brought cops? You're arresting her? You monster. Ma'am, one of the officers said, voice steady and flat. We're here to prevent a breach of the peace. Mr. Pearson is allowing Miss, last name, to retrieve her personal belongings. These are her items. Diana screeched, pointing at my television like it was a family heirloom. She lives here. This is her home. No, I said, my voice hollow but steady. It's not. She had 48 hours. Greg's email was clear. Get your stuff. Now. Eliza just sat on the floor crying. You did this. You hate me. I stared at her, and for once, I didn't feel the urge to soften the blow. I do now. You wrote a fraudulent check for $15,000. You tried to steal from me. Get your stuff. That's when I saw it. The cake topper. The $1,500 piece of nonsense I'd paid for. It was sitting on the dining table, defaced. She'd taken a black marker and drawn something obscene on the silhouette of me, and snapped her own silhouette off at the ankles. You can't have that, she snarled, clutching it. My mother paid for this. I pulled up my Amex app. No, she didn't. I did. That's my property. Put it down. We locked eyes, a standoff that smelled like perfume and resentment. The cops shifted forward just slightly. Then she let out a scream, a deep, primal sound that almost didn't sound human, and hurled it against the wall. It shattered into pieces. Fine, she sobbed. Now it's nothing. Just like you. The officer stepped forward, firm now. Ma'am, you need to gather your belongings and leave. Now. Or you will be arrested for property damage. It took 2 hours. 2 long, uncomfortable, weirdly quiet hours. They loaded up a U-Haul with clothes, makeup, and what was left of her carefully curated life. Diana tried to take my sofa, my actual sofa. The officer intervened, asking for a receipt. She couldn't provide one. Because it was mine. And then, they were gone. The officers left. The door closed. And I stood there, surrounded by the smell of perfume and the faint echo of a relationship that should have died months ago. Then, unexpectedly, I laughed. It wasn't a joyful laugh. It was a relieved, slightly broken one, the kind that leaks out when the last weight lifts off your chest. I lost a chair, a mattress, and a blender. About $25,000 in deposits and damage. And it was worth every penny. The "I'm single again" party happened 2 weeks ago. I brought in professional cleaners who treated the condo like a crime scene. Over 100 people showed up, my friends, my family, and, hilariously, about half of our mutual friends. The ones who'd read the infamous email and decided, yeah, we're Team Grant. Ben made a toast, beer in hand, grin on his face. To Grant, he said, a man who knows when to fold M and when to throw the best damn party with the pot. We even used one of the Eliza and Julian invitations as kindling in the fireplace. Watching it curl up in flames felt cleansing. The aftermath? I heard through a mutual friend that Eliza and Diana are furious at everyone, including the planet. Their smear campaign fizzled. My libelous email? Just the truth. No one's buying their story. Eliza's now living with her mom, and Julian. Yeah, that Julian. The man she metaphorically torched her engagement for. He messaged me on Instagram. Hey man, heard what went down. That's insane. Just wanna say I had nothing to do with it. She's a lot. No hard feelings. And he's right, he wasn't part of the scheme. She'd just been obsessing. Staring at an old file labeled Eliza and Julian and convincing herself it was real. It's pathetic. And I don't even feel angry anymore. I feel done. I'm out 25 grand. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. I need a new blender. But I'm free. I didn't marry into that family. I didn't tie myself to a woman who thought a felony was a typo. And the best part? The revenge wasn't the party. It wasn't the letter. It wasn't the locks. The revenge was when I looked her in the eye and said, I'll fix it. And then I did.